and welcome to Delectable Flavors. In today's video, I will show you how you could ice a cake. So for this recipe, you will need 2 vanilla cakes, and I've left a link at the top of your screen as well as in the description box on how you can make that. You will also need to simple syrup your cakes, and I've also left a link in the description box for my simple syrup recipe as well. So what I'm going to use is my offset spatula as well as my spatula, but if you have like a butter knife or any other tool you think will work, go for it. I also have my own buttercream here, and I like to store it in an airtight container, but it's totally fine to use store-bought buttercream as well. So first what I'm going to do is get a little bit of buttercream and then put it in the middle, just so my cake has somewhere to stick. Now what I'm going to do is add my cake onto the little blob of buttercream, and I'm going to center it as best as possible. So the vanilla cakes I made, and I have also left the link in the description box, came out very flat as I use a air insulated cake pan as well as cake wrap, so I do not actually have to get rid of the crown, but if you have a crown, just level it out using a cake leveler or a knife. But since I don't have to do that, I'm going to get right into this. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my spatula, and I'm going to just take a little bit of icing, and I'm going to spread it out evenly. So I've just applied icing to my cake, and I've smoothed it as well. It's now looking pretty even, so I'm going to add my second layer, which I'm going to add is a Rice Krispie piece. And I need to make sure I place it right on top. I want to make sure I'm as even as possible. And I'm going to press so that it sticks on. You can see it's nice and flat. Now I'm going to add a little bit of icing and then add a second layer of Rice Krispie. But this time I'm going to add colored icing instead, just to make things look a little more interesting. I just used regular white icing and I dyed it red. And I'm going to use a little bit at first, and then I'm going to color more if I need more. I'm going to start at the middle, and then I'm going to spread. It's a bit harder to ice this compared to a cake. I'm going to try to spread it out. And it doesn't need to be perfect because this is your crumb coat. I'm trying to find the flatter side. I'm making a colorful vanilla cake, so my next layer is going to be blue. I'm going to give it a good mix, and I think I'll add a few more drops. And I'm now going to spread it onto my cake. You could also do this with a piping bag. It is easier to do with a piping bag if you pipe a circle and fill it in and then spread it out. I just thought of not using a piping bag because not that many people have a piping bag at hand. I'm going to just spread it from the middle out. The Rice Krispie is a bit harder to spread on. And I think that's good. And now I'm going to add my final cake layer. And basically for my simple syrup, all I have to do is squeeze a little bit on. All I do is like to squeeze a little bit on, and then using a brush, I like to brush the syrup I have and then put it in the fridge for about 10 to 20 minutes. So my cake has just soaked all of the simple syrup and has been in the fridge, and this is my top layer, so what I'm going to do is flip it, and then I'm going to gently put it onto the cake. I'm going to center it as much as I can. So now what I'm going to do is use my spatulas, and I'm going to apply the white icing onto the top of this cake. Now I'm going to quickly do the sides with some more white icing. I'm going to brush on a little bit. First I'm going to just brush the color on. Don't worry if the blue is showing. So my cake is now chilled. You can see that nothing comes on my finger after I frozen the icing. And now I'm going to add another layer of white on the edges so we can get a clean finish. I'm going to add icing to the top where there isn't any. So I've just divided my icing into lines using a scraper, using a bench scraper. And when you use a bench scraper, you need to decide which side you're going to keep as your back side, because at the one point you are going to lift it. So I'm going to use this as my back side, and then you need to determine your front side, and then we need to chill this in the fridge once again. I'm now going to pipe in some stripes into the grooves using purple icing. So I've just kept scraping and I've got these beautiful defined lines. Now I'm going to use this beautiful pale blue to decorate my cake. And this is a 1M piping tip that I am using. A 1M piping tip is really good for anything you want to decorate. It is a standard size. Now what I'm going to do is draw little flowers. I'm just going to push, twist, 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 and lift. So now I'm going to pipe similar to a wave structure at the bottom. So I'm going to pipe and then pull up and then pipe, pull up, pipe, pull up. So the last thing I'm going to do is add some sprinkles onto the top of my little flowers. I'm also going to add sprinkles to the bottom. And there you have it. Our beautiful cake is done and it looks amazing. Just remember that before you serve it, put it in the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes so everything can firm up and it'll look just amazing. If you did like this tutorial, please give a big thumbs up and please do consider subscribing to our channel for a new recipe every Thursday. Till the next recipe, bye-bye. If you sticked around this long in the video, you have a sweet treat ahead of you. I'm going to cut into this cake just to show you what it looks like. I'm going to just take out the cake. You can see those beautiful vanilla. And you can also see the pink and blue icing. Beautiful Rice Krispies. I'm just going to take a bite into this to show you what it looks like. This is really good. You should definitely try the vanilla cake recipe and also go for decorating the cake. Trust me, you'll enjoy it.